it's 420, also Earth Day, and I was up late last night, and the last thing I was doing was, before going to bed, was reading this book, or starting to, and I was like, I'm doing it right. Like, I am on 420 reading Far Journeys by Robert Monroe, where it describes Flush and everything else um, that he experienced. And I didn't come across, YouTube suggested this video from this guy who was doing like an hour and 12 minutes long video where he was like reading from the book and discussing his thoughts while he was doing it. And he had like a proper podcast microphone and a nice background lighting, and he wasn't hurried and everything else. And I was like, I feel like this is what I should do. Like, that would be cool. Like, and I could like learn not to be hurried and like actually like talk about my thoughts. It's just that I have a constant feeling from my experiences of being treated like shit that I need to hurry up and say what I have to say because it's not important or of value to anyone. So that means that like I have been so demeaned, belittled, and degraded by people that that's my constant state of feeling. So when people are like I was working 2 weeks ago somewhere because I do freelance because I can't stand to work at a job that's like my job for an indefinite amount of time because of the society that I live in. It makes me feel sick, and I can't like function if I feel sick. So I've been doing gigs as a way to just generate income in short, like, proximity with people that are random. And I've been able to kind of like prevent the instant, like, everything's going wrong because people meet me and they want to be like, oh my God, hello. And I'm like, there might be a way for us to communicate and have a nice relationship. I just don't know what it is. Because inevitably, I'm just like, I just don't have anything to say. And I don't know why. I think there's like a very simple, logical reason. I just don't have the desire to think about it right now. And I think I'm kind of like, I don't even want to stay outside room right now. Cover that blind a little bit, so I'm like, I don't want to see it. I think it's something very simple. Like, I am in a society that doesn't see me, at least white people in America, they know about race issues. Like, not all of them are clueless. A lot of them are aware. A lot of them, and that's exactly what it is. I kind of had the urge to cry just now. So, uh, it's basically like I can't suddenly remove my actual self from my consciousness as I'm talking to you because you have no context for me as an African person in the world living in a post-European enslavement of like two continents over the last half century, because you guys kind of live in like the past where like you didn't have to learn about the fact that that's a thing in the world and that there are people who are affected by it. So the racism that I experienced was like people used to ask me when I lived in the States, like, which one do you prefer, the country you were born in or the States? And I was like, well, I don't know, they're very different. There's things about each of them that I like a lot, and there's things that I like miss about where I'm from, and there's things that are really cool here that I don't want to give up, you know? And that was my diplomatic answer because I was like, I can't answer that. It's like asking me if I like my mother. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you like your mother better or like your foster mother? And I'm like, what the fuck kind of question is that? Like, I don't know. And because I never actually processed the way that racism, and more than racism, it's like, yes, racism, but it's also like being rejected by your home group. And also seeing that like your home group is rejecting you because you don't look like them. So in a way, you can kind of like understand it in the sense of like elementary school kids can understand that a square or like that a cube doesn't go into a square shape. You know, you're like, I understand. I am a sphere. I go into a circle shape. You are a cube. You go into a square shape. I get it. I kind of get it. Like you treat me like this because you see me and you're like, she's a sphere and I'm a cube. So therefore, but I don't know why you have to be hostile and so degrading to me because of it. I don't know what that is. I've had this theory come up that was like, maybe like the races, especially like the Europeans, maybe they're like modified by some interdimensional beings that are hostile, and like therefore they have a supremacy complex regarding everyone on the planet, because that's what it's like. I'm like, Chinese people aspire to be white people. I know there's a lot of talks about China this, China that, but like when I was in America and like the Chinese Americans that I knew, it was still like the white standard versus like black people who are like the unknown. Do you know what I mean? Because everyone has seen white people because of mass media being this incredibly powerful tool of ruling the world. Like if you the second like the screen was invented and mass media became a thing, and you know that actually hasn't been around for that long. It's been like less than 100 years, like less than 100 years, less than 100 years. It's only been 100 years. You could say it's one lifetime of human being alive. Like some people live longer than 100, and that's how long the television is, like the screen. I wonder how long radio has been around. Like mass media broadcasting is what has emerged as a tool of ruling the world, that is like the best tool in the universe. Okay? It's like, and no one has ever talked about it. And like, it's the way that you rule the world, because you can rule people through like familiarity. You introduce white people through Hollywood to all of the world, who are the people who took over the world when Europe was running around like grabbing lands around the world. Like the only place left that is an actual civilization that is itself in the world is the Chinese universe. Everything else has been conquered by Europeans. I'm like, don't even call them white people. And white, by the way, if you're like a white person in America or anywhere else in the world and you're like, I'm hearing this, like I have nothing against you. Like I have zero. I have nothing against you. It's not you who did this. You're just born into like your predicament of like being a human being, with this being your heritage or background or like burden to carry. This is why white guilt exists. When I found people in America who are white, who are of European descent, because all white people means like European descent people, like that's all it means. Like that word is kind of like, anyway, I could talk for a long time about all kinds of stuff, but the point is, when I met people in America who are European descent people who are like talking about white guilt, I was like, what is this? Like white guilt? First of all, I was super confused because Hollywood, like, by the way, when you see me scratching my armpits sometimes in my videos, I used this deodorant for a while, and it messed up my, like, the skin, like, what are they called? Like, the pores, uh, of my armpits. So, like, they have a hard time sweating. So, like, they don't let out, like, stress or, like, hormone, the sweat, the water out easily. So sometimes I feel like my body is like producing like a I need to like it's like I'm trying to like, do you know what I'm trying to say? I don't want to talk about it much longer because it sounds weird, but it's like trying to like get like the exchange of like whatever out of my armpit skin, and that's what it is. In case you're like, what is she doing? Like that's what it is. But I was confused because I was growing up in a society of white people that are not like Western Europeans, and so like they have no white guilt possible because they weren't the conquerors. They're like clueless about all of it because they were like not part of it. They weren't part of the transatlantic slave trade, but they're still white people and they still have white supremacy consciousness. Not like in the sense of like Ku Klux Klan, but in the sense of like seeing them as like the beauty standard, seeing themselves, because I think like they like benefited from like the Western European person's sense of I am the fucking image of God because they're also white and they look like them, but they're not them. But they like the world changed for like the past like half a millennia because of like everything being rewritten in the white image all over the globe except for the Chinese universe, except for East Asia. You feel me? Which is why I'm like, I want to move to East Asia because I just want to experience like a civilization of people who are themselves, since I can't have that. I can never go back to Africa and be like, they used to tell me to go back to Africa when I was a child, and I was like, but I was born here, and I know I look like I'm Ethiopian or something or like something else, but I'm like from like deeply dark black people. It's just that I'm half white, so I look like this. I've never been to Africa. I don't know. It used to, and because this is what I talked to ChatGPT about. This is what I realized. I'm like, because they rejected me so intensely, but I had nothing but the birth country that birthed me to have as my identity. My culture was, and my food, the music, everything was the white like country that birthed me. I clung to the identity of that country more, and I became more of a like a this is my identity. I need to protect this country. Like every kind of like nationalistic pride, patriotic vibe that all countries kind of give to their citizens when they're born. I feel like all countries do that. I like latched onto that more in an unconscious way in my psychology. And I figured that out with ChatGPT because I had no one to talk about it with. No one's going to listen to me for 5 hours straight talking about my race issues, but artificial intelligence will. This is what I meant by ChatGPT help me. I just wanted to say that I had a bit of that like chamomile bay leaf joint with like 2 slivers of cannabis leaf plant, and I smoked it, and like all of this, my mind just feels so functional right now, and so I'm like, I need to move to Amsterdam because like moving to Thailand, I don't know how to do that. It just feels a lot more difficult than moving to Amsterdam. I just need to live in a country where cannabis is like readily available in a more or less like legalized form, because it literally makes my brain work. Not my brain, but like my mind. Like my mind radio stream of like myself like gets like to do, they call it medicinal for a reason. I have shame because people are always like, no, it's not, they're just saying it's medicinal to get away with it. I'm like, if people can drink wine and beer on a weekly basis and not have social shame about it, I'm like, cannabis is literally not destroying your brain cells. It like literally makes you functional and it calms your nervous system. And like, I need to live in a country where it's legal in whatever way that it can be legal. Or like, I don't want to go to Canada. I'm like, I'm never going back to the Western Hemisphere. I'm so scared of it. They'll kill my ass over there. I will not go back there. I don't give a crap. I don't give a crap. I'm never crossing the ocean ever again. I'm never